1, 2. Thank you very much, everybody, members of the media, Commander-in-Chief, and the officials of the EFF. A quick introduction, just to refresh everyone's memory. On my far right is the Deputy Secretary General, Commissar Hlengwe Hlophe. Next to her is the Secretary General, Godrich Gadi. In my immediate, it's the National Chairperson, Dalim Bofu, and then the Deputy President, Floyd Chibambu, and the Commander-in-Chief, Julius Malema. We are in Situata. This place is called Situata. It's part of Alexander. And you are all welcome. Without any further ado, I'm going to hand over to the Commander-in-Chief to take us through the statement, and then we'll do a question and answer afterwards. Commander-in-Chief.
All right, thank you very much. Greetings to the members of the media and the leadership of the EFF. And I'm told that some of the TV stations are carrying us live. We greet our fellow South Africans. I've been asked to come and brief you about the coalition discussions following the 2016 local government elections. Now, the arrangement here is such that we're exposed to the sun, and the white paper is dealing with my eyes. So I will try to speak to the issues as raised in the statement. After our press conference at the IEC Center, where we said we are done with elections and we are proceeding with the business of the EFF, we were then called to a meeting by Paul Mashatile, the chairperson of the ANC in Gauteng, who asked to see us. And we availed ourselves, myself, the deputy president, and the national chairperson. And Paul Mashatile came with the premier of Gauteng, David Makura, and the provincial secretary, Hope Up. And we briefly discussed, and we made it very clear to them that we are not comfortable talking to a province because we are the national leadership, and will be comfortable talking to their national leadership. And they said they will pass the message to their national leadership. And then the Secretary General of the ANC called. We had a brief meeting with him, and then we agreed that we are prepared to meet them, and the team was assembled from the ANC. And that team was Gwede Mantashe, Jesse Duarte, Zweli Mkhize, Andries Nel, and Jeff Radem. And from our side, it was the EFF officials with the spokesperson of the EFF. In the discussions, we told the ANC that we are more than prepared to work with them, and we are giving them our votes, and we do not want to discuss positions because none of us in the EFF requires of any position in the municipality. But we asked the ANC to meet the following conditions. The first one was that they must take our 6% offer to amend the constitution and expropriate land without compensation. The second one was that we need to nationalize mines, banks, and strategic sectors of our economy. The third one was that we need free education immediately. The fourth one was that the stem must be removed from the national anthem because it's a symbol of apartheid. And the fifth one was that they must eradicate the e-tolls in Gauteng. And then the sixth one was that they should not sign any nuclear deal with the Russians. The seventh one was that we need a judicial inquiry on the Guptas. And then the last one was that we need Jacob Zuma to go as a president of the Republic because we have no power to ask them to remove him as a president of the ANC. But as a shareholder in this company called South Africa, we have the right to ask them to recall him as a president of the Republic. The ANC welcomed the input from the EFF and asked that they must be given an opportunity to go and reflect with their collective, and they will come back. They went back to reflect with their collective, and they came back on all issues. There were no non-committant. On the issue of the land, they said we are together. They are talking about expropriation with compensation. They are even talking about expropriation bill, which is before Parliament and has been taken to court. And we said to them, we have heard that story before, and therefore we do not want things that are non-committant. On nationalization of mines and banks, we couldn't hear them except to say that there is an existing small mining company owned by the state, and that we must use the Post Bank to establish a state-owned company, state-owned bank. And on free education, they said they've got a Polokwane resolution on free education, but we must subject it to the process of the commission. And then this time they said, well, it can be removed easily because it just needs the president who's got the powers to do so. But we have to take the country into confidence and bring everybody along so that we're together. On the nuclear deal, they said there is no nuclear deal at the moment, and therefore we cannot talk about the deal which is non-existent. On the Guptas, they said they will rather establish a commission which investigates the state capture and all families that are affected by the state capture and all those sort of things. And on President Zuma, they said it was a no-no. And now we said to them that we do not have time for processes. We think that the ANC should commit so that when we go out to talk to our people, there's a clear position and reasons why we are in marriage with the ANC. And we explained that we cannot subject the issue of the land to the bills they're talking about. We want to amend the constitution. And to amend the constitution, we need 2/3 majority, and the 6% is there to amend the constitution. On nationalization, we told them that we want to nationalize existing mines and then expand the state-owned mining company, which must be given a preference when licenses are issued. It must not be that the state-owned mining company competes at the same level with private-owned companies. We want the state-owned mining company to be given a preference over the private-owned companies. It must be expanded and all those type of things, including the bank. And we could not find each other. On the nuclear deal, we told them that if you say there is no nuclear deal at the moment, then if we were to agree, there must not be any nuclear deal with Russians for the duration of the marriage between the EFF and the ANC. And we told them that there is a nuclear deal. The budget already presented has allocated 200 million for the nuclear deal processes. And Nene was fired because of the nuclear deal. And that Zuma and the Guptas have already received money, bribe, on the nuclear deal. And that the current Minister of Energy, Tina Jumard, she's been threatened of being removed if she doesn't sign the nuclear deal. And that we are even aware that the president has asked for legal opinion on shifting the nuclear deal from energy into a security cluster so that it can be dealt with as a security cluster matter, because the security cluster is constituted by the most corrupt people which is in control of. And the legal opinion came back saying that already the matter has been referred to Treasury, and therefore if he is shifted to to security cluster, it will create suspicions. And that's why the matter is in Treasury, as it were. On the Gupta inquiry, they said to us they are prepared to do the inquiry, but must be inquiry that captures everyone and all that. And then I remember we said to them, when you go to police station to open a case of murder against this person, the police will not say to you, well, this case of murder will be clubbed with many other cases of murder, and then we'll investigate the cases of murder in this police station. We thought that was insulting to the EFF. We are specifically asking that there must be an inquiry on the Guptas, and the ANC is not committed to that. We said it was going to be very difficult for us to enter into an agreement with President Zuma, who's presiding over a corrupt state. Kleptocracy, which is existing in this country, institutionalized by Zuma, will make it very difficult of us to enter into any agreement with the ANC. And because we are people who have an imagination, we're already imagining ourselves signing a deal with the ANC and shaking hands with Zuma. It was not going to be a very beautiful picture. It was going to be an insult to South Africans who voted against kleptocracy and corruption. And we feel very strong that it is not about an individual. It's about this corruption which President Zuma is promoting in South Africa. Now the ANC asked to go back to the NEC to talk amongst ourselves, and then they came back and they were still waffling and saying the same things. And we are happy to announce that there is no deal between the EFF and the ANC. Now we moved to the DA, the party of white racists. And then we went to them and said to the DA, well, they called us and said to us that they want to talk to us about coalition. We put a similar condition to the DA. Let's expropriate the land without compensation. They said they don't have power. We said to them, we don't want you to amend the constitution. We know you don't have power. But we want to sit in the same press conference with you and pronounce on the policy of expropriation of land without compensation. And we also asked them to nationalize the mines, banks which are owned predominantly by white males. We asked them to support us to remove this term from the national anthem because it's a symbol of apartheid. Well, the DA was amenable on that point. They were ready to talk. And Musi was even saying to me, it's like asking the Jews to sing the song of Hitler and all those type of things. And we asked them not to change the name of Tshwane. It must be Tshwane. They were saying no, they are agreeing with that, but we must also not change the Pretorius Street. And we said no, anything that reminds our people of apartheid must be removed. We had a discussion, several meetings with the DA on these points, and we seem not to be agreeing with the DA. And therefore, we said to the DA as well, we need the issue of free education. The DA is sympathetic to the call for free education, but they are non-committal to make such a pronouncement. We are happy to announce that there is no deal with the DA. Therefore, we couldn't find each other with the DA. We are happy to say to our people that we will not be going into a coalition with anyone. Therefore, the EFF will be assuming its seats as an opposition. We feel very strong that the EFF must earn its position in the municipalities and provincial government. The EFF must not want to get power through a shortcut. We have seen in the recent past, after the elections, a lot of letters from some members of the EFF who are fighting to be in the PR list, even when they've not made it. They started accusing their own colleagues of laziness and claiming that they worked harder than their colleagues, which is a clear evidence of opportunism in the EFF, something that we need to deal with decisively, because those who want to be in the PR of the EFF, majority of them were ward candidates. They did not win their wards, yet they claim to have worked very hard. So there is no one who's going to be in power through a shortcut. We want to send a strong warning to all EFF members who think that they can threaten the organization, that the doors are open for them to leave, because EFF is not a home of opportunists. No one is going to want to be a mayor at all costs, including compromising the principles of the EFF, because you want to be a mayor or a speaker or some committee chairperson. All of those people who are looking to become something important in the municipality through a shortcut, they must know there is no such a room here in the EFF. We are building this organization from the ground. We are building it slowly. We are building it through an intensive program which will teach our members organizational discipline and respect, which will teach our members the love for the organization and not love for positions. All of those who wanted to be in the PR even when they've lost their municipalities and claim to have worked hard and threatened to disrupt the organization will be taking disciplinary measures against them. Anyone who threatens to disrupt EFF office, who threatens to block EFF members from being sworn in the municipalities, is individuals who are bringing the ANC culture of fighting for positions in the EFF. But South Africa, be rest assured, the EFF will not be neutral in this politics. We know that they are hung municipalities, and for us to be neutral will be cowardice. Therefore, we'll be voting for IFP in the hung municipalities in KwaZulu-Natal and everywhere else. We'll be voting for a service delivery forum in Rustenburg. We'll be voting for DA in Tshwane, in Ekurhuleni, in Johannesburg, in PE. There is a difference between coalition and voting for them. We'll vote for them and be in the opposition benches. We are not going to delay service delivery because of ideological differences. The ANC will not get a single vote from the EFF. The DA will get our vote in Johannesburg if they meet one condition we've put to them, which is between us and them. We don't want to be anything in all those municipalities where we'll be voting for the opposition. We're not co-governing. We're not going to compromise the brand EFF. We'll vote for the opposition because the ANC must be removed from power. Yes. And this is the start of removing the ANC from power. We can't be neutral. If we are neutral, we are sellouts. We are cowards. It means we don't want to take a stand. We've taken a stand and we're going to vote for the opposition. DA must know our voting for them in these metros does not mean we are in bed together. They are a better devil compared to the ANC. Now, I heard some people talking about the white party. You can't vote for the white party. You must vote for the ANC. The ANC is a protector of white monopoly capital, the same way as the DA. They are the same. There is no difference. The difference between the ANC and the DA is that the ANC is a corrupt organization which subscribes to kleptocracy, unlike the DA. The corruption of the ANC is on the face of everyone to see. Now, you've got two devils here, all of them protecting white capital. The difference is that this one is corrupt to the core. But the ANC is extremely arrogant. Even when they performed bad, they still want to pretend like nothing has happened. So the imagination of giving Johannesburg to the ANC, and immediately after we give it to them, they make a statement, the ANC leaves the ANC lead. Where? Even when you have lost. Sitle Zigalala was throwing a champagne in Natal, despite the decline everywhere, which is a party in denial. So we have to deal with it in such a way that individuals start being personally affected, because they can't see this theory of what is happening in this country. So they must now feel the pain as individuals. Now they will know that indeed there is a shift in this country. They say they take a collective responsibility. What an arrogant statement against the Constitutional Court. The Constitutional Court said Zuma is a mess and must take individual responsibility. They come as a direct insult to the Constitutional Court and say they take a collective responsibility. Since you have taken a collective responsibility, you are now going to be punished as a collective. Pakstow, take a collective responsibility. No more blue lights. No more benefits of a mayor. You shall walk the streets of Johannesburg like all of us. Togodi Diza, we shall meet in Parliament. There's not going to be any mayorship for you. No matter what happens, you can be or else be prepared to sit with us on the opposition benches. Muzwandile Masina, we are working very hard to make sure you don't become a mayor in Ikurulin, because that municipality deserves a better person and you are not that person. And Denny Jordan, Hashem, you have to face your charges with FIFA and all that. There is no mayorship for Denny Jordan, because you all said you are taking collective responsibility. You shall be punished as a collective because you love an individual more than the metro. The ANC had a choice to choose between Zuma and the metros. Once again, the ANC chose Zuma. Don't blame it on the EFF. Blame it on your leaders in the ANC. Members of the ANC and veterans of the ANC, we don't owe you anything. We are in the opposition. Stop calling us and thinking you can give us some unwanted and unwelcomed advice. You are not veterans of the EFF. Your own organization, the ANC, doesn't listen to you. What makes you think we can listen to you? You have lost your relevance. You too have succumbed to an individual called Jacob Zuma. So save your advices. We don't need them. Members of the ANC, we voted against the ANC on the 3rd of August. Why would within few days' time vote for the ANC? What has changed from the 3rd of August and the day of swearing in a new mayor? Nothing has changed. But what we have done on the 3rd of August, we chose an opposition. That opposition is called the EFF. Now we are going to choose the opposition again, because that's what we did on the 3rd of August. There is no contradiction. We voted against the ruling party. Everyone must understand in South Africa, for ruling party to get less than 50%, it means it has done something extremely wrong. Therefore, you cannot say the ruling party must go back through a back door. The people of South Africa have whispered, and the whisper is too loud. We have heard you, South Africa. We will not go into bed with the ANC. The ruling party everywhere else, ordinarily, they always get above. When they drop from 60%, they go to 55%. The ANC has gone even beyond 55%. It means it's a confirmation that the ANC has done extremely wrong. We are not in this for positions. We don't want any position. We don't want any mayorship. We don't want any speaker. We don't want any favor from anyone. We don't want anything from the racist DA. Our relationship remains the same. The way we're fighting in parliament, the way we're fighting on the streets, we'll continue to fight. There's no any special arrangement. There's no some political committee to manage anything. Nothing. We have no relationship with the DA. We are caught between the two devils. We had to choose a better devil. Being neutral was not an option. A revolutionary can never be neutral, especially during difficult times. We had to take side. This is history, and we will be judged by history. If we have taken a wrong decision, let history judge us. Position mongers in the EFF were coming for you. All of you. Will deal with you one by one. All of you who are desperate to be councillors despite performing badly, threatening the organization, be rest assured your membership will not be renewed. We are not an organization of positions. Let's build this EFF properly. Let it not be built on ambitions, including national leaders who have ambitions of becoming ministers and deputy ministers through some arrangement, not when some of us are leading this organization. There were puppets here who were saying to us, we want to go back to the ANC. Once more, we are saying to South Africa, we'll never go back to the ANC. There were people here who wrote open letters advising us to go back to the ANC. But when they left the EFF, they were saying, no, we are leaving because these people want to go back to the ANC. Some former criminals, they were even saying we had a meeting with Zuma in Mozambique. This is an evidence that never trust an ex-convict. Once a criminal, always a criminal. They can lie without being ashamed. If we had meetings with Zuma in Mozambique, this were not going to be the result. We said to you, even when we accused of corruption, when we're accused of having secret meetings with the ANC, we just said to you, only history will absolve us. Today we are here, history clearing us, that we have no sort of arrangement with the ANC. Some of you who have advised to us that we must work with the ANC and not with white people, you must go and advise the ANC, because the ANC approached Freedom Front in Limpopo. They never approached the EFF in Limpopo. When they wanted to form a coalition in Tabazimbi and Mudimule, the first party they went to is Freedom Front. Now let's ask the reverse question. If the EFF was in the same position the ANC is in now, will the ANC help the EFF? The answer is no. We are the biggest enemy of the ANC. The ANC shot our people in Nkomazi, in Mpumalanga. The ANC threw bottles and stones at us. The ANC beat our ground forces in Soweto and everywhere else in South Africa. The ANC continued to harass our members. The ANC beat up our members in Tembisa and killed some of them. What will those families say about us if we go with people who have killed their children? What will the widows and the children of Marikana say about us when we go with a party that has killed their fathers and their husbands? What will these people of Situata here, who don't have toilets, who are suffering under the ANC government, say to the EFF? All of us here have consulted the leadership of the EFF. They said to us, don't go with anyone but vote for the opposition. So in Metsimaholo, we are voting for Metsimaholo Civic Organization. In Rustenburg, we are voting for Forum for Service Delivery. They are going to be a mayor, they are going to be a speaker. They said to me, I must tell you that under their leadership in Rustenburg, no child will go to school without shoes. The first task they are going to perform is to buy all the children who don't have shoes in Rustenburg the shoes to go to school. We are very proud to associate with such people who think of the poor at all times. But they must know, Metsima Civic Organization, IFP, DA, Service Delivery Forum in Rustenburg, they must know we are not in bed with them. We are the opposition. We are not going to co-govern with them. Now, the last point is that every budget passed by these municipalities, hey, it will have to come to us. We have to see it for 5 years. Let me see. Do you have situator? Don't write housing 500 million. I want specific in the budget. To have tip slot, to have orange farm. What are you going to do in orange farm for the next 5 years? Those are the new politics of municipalities. That's EFF for you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, President and Commander-in-Chief. I'm going to attempt the first round of questions and we'll take it from there. I will call you numerically. So you are number 1, but come this side. Join the media. Don't have an uncontrollable ambition to be on the panel. Number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6. We're going to start with number 6.
From Report newspaper in Rustenburg, the Forum for Service Delivery has 4%, yourself have just less than 28%. Who's going to make up the rest of the votes in Rustenburg to form a government without the ANC?
Number 5.
I'm Ranjini Munsami from Daily Maverick. Mr. Malema, by saying that you will vote along with the DA, with the IFP in the municipalities, are you not actually giving them the positions of mayor, speaker? You basically handing over governance to these opposition parties without your conditions being met. And how far does this go? This voting along go with the DA? Is it only for the first sitting where they elect the officials, or does the cooperation go any further? Thank you.
Thank you. Tula Sizwe from eNCA. Just 2 quick questions. Rustenburg is related to Jan's question. Why not try and form a government yourselves, seeing as you are the second biggest party? I remember you said where these decisions have to be made, you'll be going along with what the people have been indicating in the polls. You are the second biggest party. It seems like you don't want to take responsibility to form a coalition. Your comment on that. And then secondly, I'm interested in the ANC veterans that you're talking about. Who are they? What have they been saying to you? Saying they were calling you, what were they saying?
Good afternoon, Aldrin St-Pierre from SABC TV News. On the condition that you've set to the DA with regards to Tshwane, is it only for Tshwane that that condition has been set, the one that you didn't want to mention? Does it have any bearing on the agreement to vote in conjunction with the DA in Joburg as well as in Ekurhuleni? And then the second question is that with the agreements that you've signed with other political parties, including the one in Rustenburg, does this then mean that the EFF is not going for any position to be part of the MMCs?
My name is Hajra Marji from Power FM. Mr. Malema, beyond voting with the opposition on mayors and beyond scrutinizing the budget, the EFF has consistently said it will respect the will of the people. At the coalface of service delivery in councils, is it advisable to fight as well as the EFF has fought in Parliament over every issue in a council meeting? Will that not frustrate service delivery at every hour, at every day for the next 5 years? And secondly, you spoke extensively and took us and the nation into your confidence on the discussions with the ANC over your call for President Jacob Zuma to go. Are you willing to share a little bit more in terms of what ANC leaders said specifically in their name when you put that demand to them?
My question is covered, thank you.
Thank you very much. All opposition parties in Rustenburg are going to vote together. Therefore, let's put it very clear, there is no agreement, not even with Forum for Service Delivery. We don't have any agreement. We offered the EFF support for them to take the positions of mayor and the speaker. It doesn't require any agreement. Therefore, the Forum for Service Delivery must go and get the support of other political formations, be it DA, be it Freedom Front. They have a responsibility to go and persuade those parties. We cannot speak on their behalf. But our wish, which has been expressed in the meeting of opposition parties national, has been that opposition parties must vote together everywhere if we're to deal with the arrogance of the ANC. Now, to deal with that issue of the second in Rustenburg, I like when I talk, I must see the person. Now, you are so comfortable reminding us that we must be the government in Rustenburg because we are the second. And then you don't have a problem with the DA being in government in Johannesburg, even when it's the second. So it's not automatic that when you are the second, in discussions of the coalition, you will be the government. It depends on what do you want to achieve. We are saying, let the EFF not assume power through some method which is not a popular mandate. The EFF must get into power through a popular mandate. When we don't have a popular mandate, we know our place. Our place is the opposition. If other parties are more than willing to take over even without a popular mandate, we are there to support them. We have no problem. But our position and principal position is that the people must say you deserve it. And they must do that through voting for the EFF, through a popular mandate. What are the people voting for? Expropriation of land without compensation. They are voting for nationalization. So if you don't get a popular mandate, it means the people have rejected what you stand for. And therefore you have to go and do more work to educate society. When you get into power through some arrangement, you will never work hard to popularize and educate your people about how your policies are going to benefit them. So, my brother, we do not suffer from uncontrollable ambition for power. We will still influence the municipality from opposition benches. That's who we are. There's no one who met our condition. That's why we are not Ranjini in any cooperation. So don't say the cooperation is forever or what. There's no cooperation. We vote with DA in Parliament, Ranjini. You never called it a cooperation. We voted with them on motion of no confidence against Zuma. Why was that not called a cooperation? So we are voting again with them today, like we did before in Parliament. And they are voting on issues. On issues. It has never been a cooperation. So on this issue, we agree with them. There will be many other issues where we disagree with them. Like we do in Parliament, we agree with them on this or that, and we disagree with them on this or that. We've done that, and we've done it very well in Parliament. Our disagreement on ideological issues doesn't mean there will not be an agreement on matters of national importance. If a matter, it is in the interest of our country, we are prepared to put aside our ideological differences and resolve this immediate issue which affects our society. And in this case, we cannot stall forever in these municipalities. Our people want service delivery, and we can't say on ideological questions. Therefore, we cannot allow service delivery to take place. We cannot go on re-elections. These crooks are going to force our people. They are going to coerce them. They are going to intimidate them. Hey, you will see food parcel playing a big role. You will see t-shirt like you have never seen it before. They will even buy people. So if we make a mistake of going back to rerun now, the ANC will show us flames, because they will use every cent they have in Johannesburg, in Tshwane, in PE. But when you take away Tshwane, Joburg, Ekurhuleni, PE, such big metros, you have taken away a tool of the ANC which they use to dispense patronage. So it means you have killed patronage in the strategic centers of power. And what makes us even more happy, Zuma stays in a municipality which is not ANC controls. He works in a municipality which is not ANC controls. And then he accounts to a municipality which is not ANC control. We are bit by bit destroying the arrogance of the ANC. The ANC has called for a debate there in Parliament on the local government election 2016. I will be there. I just want to hear what they are going to say. Let them continue to be arrogant. Let them continue to be arrogant. It's not paying off. They brought here the druggies, artists who, some of them who suffer from abuse of drugs, and made them faces of campaign. Our people rejected druggies. Those druggies have costed the ANC. One druggie was even saying, seeing the ANC at 40, here in Joburg, at 43, a druggie was saying, yeah, we want Joburg, your drugs are dangerous. This artist, the way he's so innocent, he took Nyaup and thought 43% means winning. He thinks it's simple like that. When the other one is 43 and the rest is 33 and 11, he thinks, oh, we have won. You druggie. And then a drunkard minister retweeted the druggie. The druggie says we have won. The drunkard retweets the druggie. The drunkard doesn't clarify, no man, you are embarrassing us. Remember, the drunkard was the first one to declare a victory in PE, because the drunkard said, we won more words, therefore we have won. You drunkard didn't see it coming. That's the problem of having ministers who are drunkards. So look at what happened. The ANC suffered, humiliated because of druggies. You know, some young ladies were telling me that that lady called Ketiwe from Generation, I don't know a proper name, I know as Ketiwe, that expired generation which was fired. She went to ladies who were wearing EFF, a duke, saying to them, hey, you made a wrong choice. What are you doing? What are you doing? And then they called her by a real name. So I didn't know who they were talking about. Then I said, who's that? They said, no, that old Ketiwe of Generation. I said, that one, Ketiwe of all people, can even have the courage, Ketiwe of Capella, can have courage to tell people they are wrong by choosing EFF. Such arrogance, even who Ketiwe, they have such arrogance. Ketiwe of Capella. Yeah. Those are the things that we saw from arrogant of the ANC. And when you remember those images of Ketiwe, you just say, let them be punished, so that they know that Ketiwe must know her place and Capella in them. We are not going to have a country run by druggies who are called celebrities. We are humiliating them now. We want to teach them a lesson. Now, well, the veterans, my brother, we have a very long relationship with them. Some of them we grew under them. They mentored us. We are what we are because of them. And to mention them like this, it will affect us, our personal relations. All we are saying as a general statement is that they must not call us. Because even those that never called us, during the difficult times in our lives, today have got some courage to call us. And I ask myself, where do they get this courage from? We're not kids. We know what we're doing. No one should treat us like we're kids and we don't know what we're doing. We have, all of us, some of us, gone through difficult personal experiences. None of those people have ever called us during that time. Do you know that lectures were told at VETS not to supervise Floyd's masters when we were fired from the ANC? Lectures were called by Gwede that when you supervise Floyd, you are committing a career suicide. There was no veteran to call us and tell us tomorrow will be better than today. Where were they? Why are they veterans today when they are not veterans at difficult moments? So let them continue to be veterans of the ANC. They have chosen Zuma. Why are they not going to advise Zuma to step down? My brother, there is no condition in Tshwane. The condition is in Joburg. So when you distort it, when we're still here, we're scared. When you live here, you are going to do terrible things. There's no condition in Tshwane. We are talking to a DA on a small matter in Joburg. And if the DA decides to really choose the side of a small matter, then they will have themselves to blame. That's what we're talking to a DA. And we gave them the advice that they must not be like the ANC and choose small matters over strategic questions which can help our people. We want to respect the fact that we agreed amongst the two parties not to disclose that until they've dealt with it amongst themselves. We don't ask too much from anyone. South Africa, there are no political agreements. So when we say we are voting for Metsimaholo Civic Organization, we are voting for Forum for Service Delivery in Rustenburg, we have not signed anything. There's no any agreement with anyone. We are just offering our vote. And it's not accompanied by any condition. Those who we couldn't meet each other on ideological issues, we agreed to disagree and parted ways. That's why there is no core governance. So Ranjeni, what's going to happen is that there's going to be minority governance in those municipalities. Because if the parties that constitute the majority do not agree, yet there is a party that gets voted into power by the majority, but that those majority are not in partnership, in co-governance with them, that is called a minority government. That's what we are going to experience in all the municipalities, because there's no political agreement, there's no co-governance. Politics is tricky like that. It's not those things of tabloid. So don't rush into it. Just listen to it properly, so that you get it right, and don't continue to make mistakes of a political agreement, coalition. There's no such a thing. Remember, coalitions must be done through agreements and terms of reference. This is how we're going to work together. There's no such a thing. So outside agreement and outside terms of reference, there can't be coalition. It is just a minority government which the EFF will help to constitute by voting the party which is going to constitute that minority government in those municipalities. It's a new thing because South African politicians are obsessed with positions. We said to the ANC, never speak positions with us in our meeting. And when Gwede, in one of the meetings, Gwede says, comrades, there are municipalities like Rustenburg, you can look at them. We said, you are now offending us. We're dealing with ideological and policy issues. Don't talk positions when you talk to us. We don't want positions. We said to the ANC, we don't want positions. We said to DA, we don't want positions. You can ask them, they will tell you. Because we are not an organization of positions. And that's why we were in a shock when people started fighting for positions in the EFF, saying my ward performed well, but I'm not a PR. We're like, which animal is this one now? Which organization do they belong to? And you know, shocking enough, there is one member of parliament, when he was told you are now being deployed in a municipality, he says to us, no, that's a demotion. I'm driving a Amarok. My children are at private schools and universities. And we're shocked, like, who's this? What Amarok? Who told you to go and buy Amarok? It's none of our business. You are going to be a councillor. And if you refuse it, you are defying the organization. Therefore, you have identified yourself outside the organization. It's not about individuals. It's about the wish of the organization. All of us, when we joined, we said we will subject ourselves to democratic centralism. And this is what democratic centralism means. There's not going to be fighting in municipalities. Haisra, there's no fighting in parliament. The biggest problem is Zuma in parliament. When we see that one, our blood boils. That's where the problem starts. If the ANC removes this crook, there's going to be peace. We don't care who they put. There's no Zuma in a municipality. We are going to fight on service delivery issues. We want the people of Hammanskraal. You know, there is an area in Hammanskraal. What is it called? Without flushing toilets. In Hammanskraal. Hammanskraal is Pretoria, Banna. That is an old establishment. They've got houses, properly built houses. There's no water. There's no flushing toilet. Not on top of mountains, not in the rural areas. There is no justification why that place can't have toilets and flushing toilets and water in Hammanskraal. That's what we're going to fight with. What we like with that mayor of the DA in Tshwane is that he's a genuine human being. You know, a person, you see him when he interacts with people. He's not like Musi. He doesn't have accent for white people when he talks to white people, and accent for black people when he... that one of Tshwane, he is himself. Every time he interacts with people, every time he speaks, he's genuine. You know, he chose the wrong party, Mara. You can talk to. He's a good guy. We can talk to that guy. We can persuade him. And a girl tia a Mamelodi or something at Ridgeville. At Ridgeville. Obana Mutua Peli Woban. So Rabunchan, Cascation, Auti, but Barnabana mates. That's what matters. We want our people to have water. And that's where we're going to fight about. We will not vote for a budget in Joburg which has got bicycle lanes. For what? Bicycle lanes for what? I'm asking that thing of e-news, what is it called, that investigative type of a thing? Checkpoint way. Please go and check the bicycle lanes. Over a period of time, not once off. Always when I drive in Sandton, I wish to see a person cycling there. I've never seen one. All of you can attest to that. And millions of monies were spent on those bicycle lanes. We will not vote for bicycle lanes. And that's the type of a fight which is necessary. Let's fight about issues, bread and butter issues which affect the daily lives of our people. The ANC doesn't budge when it comes to Zuma. You can see these old people, they are agreeing, but they are scared. The body language tells you something. If they had their way, they would have done it by now. It's not like they don't appreciate the extent of Zuma's damage to the brand ANC. There is no method. There is not even a reason they are putting forward to argue against us on Zuma. They've never faltered any argument on Zuma. Like when you say we want free education, they will say to you, free education is a resolution of the ANC in Polokwane. But let's allow the process and all that. But when it comes to Zuma, they just say, hey, you're asking us a difficult thing. Can you imagine what you are asking us? Can you imagine us asking you for the president of the EFF not to be part of these negotiations? And then the EFF asked them, but the president of the EFF didn't do anything wrong. So when you ask us on which ground, we are giving you reasons why we say Zuma must go. South Africa is not about an individual called Zuma. You can say we are obsessed with Zuma, but let me tell you, the damage that guy is causing this country is too much. Nuclear deal, you haven't seen anything with the arms deal. They say it's going to cost us trillions, but it will not be 1 trillion. You know, in the culture of government spending, it's going to be 2 or 3 trillions. If that deal is signed, there won't be any development in South Africa for the next 5 years. We will be servicing that deal. Why is Zuma not prepared to leave? Because he took the money and in exchange for nuclear deal. The Guptas are in the nuclear deal. They bought all the uranium mines in preparation of this nuclear deal. We are going to sign an agreement to work with the ANC, which is going to sign a deal which is going to cripple South Africa. Let me be a sellout and work with the whites then. I'm not going to be part of a deal that seeks to collapse South Africa. They want to cripple this country. Then the Guptas have captured this country. It's not a joke. And we're talking the top level leadership. It's not about that. Just give me any small institution you may think it's small but strategic. They finished it. There's no institution in South Africa, state-owned companies. There's no department in South Africa where the Guptas do not have a person they are controlling and on the payroll. Mail and Guardian, Matuma is here. He puts Mbalula and Malusi Gigaba as front page. Every time I speak about Mail and Guardian, I mention Matuma because he's the most seasoned person. I don't even mention the editor because she's extremely challenged. So I don't want to talk about him. So I mentioned Matuma because a seasoned journalist, he has been there. And I know him. The first interview I did when I was elected president of COSAS, the first newspaper to interview me, a serious newspaper, was Mail and Guardian, and it was Matuma. And that is a long time ago. So I know him. That's why I always say, when I say Mail and Guardian, I say Matuma. Don't think there's anything against him. Puts Malusi Gigaba and Mbalula. And they say young lions. Those are young lions without teeth. There's nothing young lions about Malusi. If anyone hopes Malusi can rescue the ANC, then the ANC is hopeless. You know, the recent example, which is extremely personal but necessary, is 2 women fighting over Malusi, a minister, and has got no control over them, both. If you can't handle such a small thing, How can you handle a complex company called South Africa? Malusi was running the election of the ANC in 2014. Mbalula had to be called again to rescue it because Malusi is hopeless. The same thing with Mbalula. No, let's finish Malusi. Malusi is also on the payroll of Gupta's. Remember, he gave that girl from outside 300,000. I don't know what is called in dollars. Where will the minister get 300,000 to give cash to give a concubine? Minister becoming a blesser with a stolen money. 300,000. We said this before. It's only those who are in the Gupta's payroll who can afford to bless with 300,000. This one called Mbalula, I don't know if he's with the Guptas. The last time we were friends, he was not in the Gupta pockets. But anything is possible. But the man is hopeless because he doesn't represent anything. Mbalula can do anything for position. And people who love position more than principle, they are dangerous. If they were to put Malusi and Mbalula and say, I must vote, I will vote for Malusi because I know he hates what we stand for and he hates us. But I don't know what Mbalula stands for. So a hypocrite is more dangerous than the enemy itself, because you know where you stand with the enemy. So the ANC can't be rescued by anyone. We will be back to this place in 2019 announcing another coalition talk results for national and provincial government. You can be rest assured. Thank you.
President, we're going to attempt the last and final round of questions. And I appeal to all of you, this is the last one. So let's do the last round. You are number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. Okay. Then number 6, TD, number 7. Number 8. Going once, twice, that's it. Number 1.
Thank you very much. My name is Moses Moyo from the Joburg Gazette. Before the election, President Malema, we saw you going to see former President Thabo Mbeki, seeking advice, asking him to stand with the ANC. I just want to ask his mother.
I never asked him to stand with the ANC.
Or the EFF.
Even if that was an example, you can't put me in that example.
Okay, I just want to ask, you have a good relationship with Mawili. You come from way back. In this times of coalitions, has she called you? Has she said anything? Thank you.
I avoided her because I can't say no to her. So every time they say no, Winnie's on the line, I'll tell her I will call her back. So I'm going to call her back after this press conference.
Number 2.
Milton Nkosi, BBC. You've explained how important it is to the EFF that President Zuma leaves office, which is what's one of your demands in those talks you had with them. What else can you do now post-elections? We're going back to Parliament. What else is the EFF going to do to try and achieve that goal that it has set for itself? You said at the IEC that you want to see President Zuma out of power. What else can you do from now on?
Number 3 is here.
Mr. Malema, Claudia Malush from Netwerk 24. I just wanted to get some clarification. You didn't specify who you will be giving your votes to in Modimola and Tabazimbi. And I just want to specify, is it also going towards the DA? Yeah, if you can just give me some clarification on that. Thank you.
Natasha
from the Business Day. You mentioned pushing for a more pro-poor stance in the budget. I just wanted to also check whether this includes issues such as electricity, water rates. Can we expect higher rates for wealthier areas? Is that the kind of thing you'll be pushing for? Thanks.
Mr. Malema, Ashlyn Lang for the Financial Times. Talking to a couple of your sort of senior members before the elections, it was suggested to me that you wouldn't form coalitions per se, you wouldn't hold seats with the DA. Was this not always your plan? I mean, did you enter into the coalition negotiations in good faith, or was this always your plan to form these sort of, to have this kind of system? And secondly, you present this very much as the best option for South Africans, but is it not just a face-saving measure for your party?
Saving it from what?
Maybe you're not mature enough to be in government, or I don't know, maybe you're worried about indiscipline in your ranks. Perhaps it's safer not to get into government yet.
It's very painful coming from a white person, that question.
Gertrude from African News Agency. Just a side story, Mr. Malema. Your message to Caster Semenya and her detractors out there. It's about to run.
Thank you. I'm TD from News 24. Just a very quick one. You just spoke now about Solim Simang, you know, what you make of him. What do you make of Herman Mashaba and supposedly the condition that you're speaking of? I know you won't go into details about it, but let me ask, will the EFF confidently vote for Herman Mashaba in Joburg? Thank you.
Last one there.
Mr. Malema, I'm Peter Grant with NPR. I'm curious if you would elaborate a little bit more about your relationship with Mmusi Maimane. Did you find him to be a negotiator in good faith during these discussions? And for those who voted for the EFF, are they supposed to assume that a vote in the future means it'll be a vote of opposition until you get 50% somewhere?
Thank you. Thank you. I don't know what happened.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Well, I answered the question on Winnie, Mama Winnie. She remains the mother of the nation.
And this was
I hope it's not much. Now, Mama Winnie remains the mother of the nation. And there was some form of contact with her, not on these issues, before they became this complex. And when they became complex, and then I realized that it was not going to be strategic to engage with Mama Winnie, because she has always been true and loyal to the ANC, and she was not going to suggest any other thing other than the ANC. So I said, I will see her, because I know her views. I will see her after the announcement, because this decision also took her views into consideration, even when they have not, even when she has not expressed it. We already know it. So we didn't engage with her. We'll talk to her after and explain where we come from. And if she decides to whip us, we'll take it as a necessary pain, but the decision remains. Parliament expect more robustness, expect more courage, because the EFF has not lost a single vote. It has actually increased its votes, which means the electorate is happy with what the EFF is doing. What matters is the people who are voting for us, and this is a scientific proof that they are not happy. I mean, they are happy with what we are doing. We are working hard to attract more voters, and will not disappoint our voters. We'll represent them as an opposition in Parliament. We will represent them as an opposition in all municipalities. Tabazimbi and Mutimule will vote for the opposition. And if the DA is the one that is leading, we gave the province a mandate to deal with those discussions at that level of the province. So as long as whatever proposal which comes before doesn't include the ANC, will vote for that proposal. We are going to ask in a budget that the poor, the indigent who are owing water and electricity, those debts must be cancelled because they can't afford. And we are going to propose a new policy that no one, particularly the poor, should lose their houses through auction as a means by the municipality to recover its money. We cannot punish people for being poor. We are going to demand that there must be a special rate for the poor people, especially in the areas where it is confirmed that here we only find the poor of the poorest. If you can provide no fee schools, because you say in this area the people can't afford to pay a school fees, you can also declare that this area the people should not pay water and electricity. Those are the types of argument you'll be listening to in the municipalities. And there is no person in the suburbs who can complain and say, no, why are you saying those ones must pay, must not pay, yet you say we must pay. It's happening already. The people are not paying school fees in those areas, yet you are paying school fees in the suburbs and you didn't complain. So it means our people are beginning to appreciate that they are poor people and government must meet them halfway. Those are the things we are going to advocate. The refuse removal, this rubbish that we find in the streets of townships, and the townships being dirty, and the townships without street lights, and the townships without municipal facilities which are found in the suburbs, that will be something of the past, because we are going to insist that that which is found in the suburbs, be it Midrand, be it Sandton, be it Houghton, everywhere, must be found in a township. Properly built roads, and we want to ensure that our people feel that they are part of municipalities. Here in Alexander, the first thing we are going to demand is the relocation of these people of Streetla. A land must be found with immediate effect, and they must be relocated. That place must be fenced so that no one goes back there. Because our people have got this tendency, when you relocate them, then they call people from home. Hey, come here, I've got 2 houses, you'll stay in another one. So we need to deal with that, so that no one stays in this type of an environment. It must be fenced, and if tall buildings are built here to accommodate our people, that can be considered in the future. But in the immediate, our people must be relocated to the next available open land. That land must not be far from here. Not those things of taking people from Alexander to Deep Slot. These people work here. Some of them are now even sleeping in the factories because they want to be closer to where they are working. A plan must be made, and that's what a mayor of Joburg is going to do. We negotiated in good faith, and there's no doubt that we can govern. We have the best of the best, and please don't use the color of our skin to judge us. Because we are black and young, you think we cannot govern. Sitting here is Advocate Dalimpov, who continues to save even lives of white people, black as he is, demonstrated even to whites that is capable to lead. We can take him anytime to be a municipal manager in Rustenburg. You don't have to come from Rustenburg to be a municipal manager in Rustenburg. Let's say we don't have capable leadership in Rustenburg, and therefore we are facing safe as you are arguing. But what stops us to take Dali to go and become a municipal manager in Rustenburg and run a successful municipality of the EFF? There are a lot of qualified. Here in Johannesburg, we convened a successful meeting of young professionals, the biggest ever. Engineers, accountants, CAs, you can call them by their professions, who said to us, we are there to make sure that the people's municipality runs efficiently and delivers services to our people. So you can never doubt capacity when it comes to the black young intelligentsia in the EFF. So we went into the negotiation in good faith. We offered ourselves. If we didn't go in good faith, we'll just say there's nothing good for us, let's abstain. Even when we didn't get what we asked for, we are still saying, for the sake of our people, let us vote for progress so that we unlock service delivery in all the municipalities. Caster Semenya, we wish her well. She's the champion. Whether she wins gold today or not, she's a champion. She's one of the best of the best. I spoke to her and wished her well, communicated with her and said to her, never concentrate on this negativity. Actually, you must use this negativity to make your enemies eat a humble pie. You have done that before, and we don't doubt your capacity. So Caster's issue is closed. We are going to be watching TV, all of us. Those of you who are asking for interviews during the Caster running, sorry, we are not available. That's the most important moment for our country. We must all unite, black and white, and support one of our own. We must raise the South African flag very high. We know the pressure she's in now. And when you are under pressure, sometimes you don't perform as expected. She must just do her thing. Even if she loses, she remains Mohadi, and no one will change her. She's ours. And today, all of us, we are Caster Semenya. That's who we are, and nothing else. And we don't care about negativity and racism, because those are the problems we deal with all the time in this country. And Caster continues to embarrass the racists in this country and all over the world. So Caster has got the support of all of us in the EFF and the country. Musima Imani, well, is a leader of the DA. I'll continue to interact with him at that level. And I know your question seeks to actually trouble me, and I'm not going to answer that question. Thank you very much. I think we're done.
Yes, thank you very much, everybody, and let's have a good watching of Caster later on. Thank you.
Yes, the wind. What up? Funny.
Saling mooi kruis so lank.